Okay, here's an interesting one unfolding in real time. How do you know when you're working hard enough? And there's subjective and objective measures to this, but it's really the subjective that's more interesting to me. So last night, my son started having stomach issues. We were up from 2 a.m. to about 5 a.m. And I was thinking about what was on my calendar for today, and thank goodness my first meeting wasn't until 11. And I thought, what if I just couldn't, we were up all night and I can't get out of bed, or I just really need to rest. I'm not going to be at my best and I need to cancel meetings. And this, of course, was causing me some anxiety. Even if I took the meetings, I would be not all there, not responsive and competent. And that made me stress. I don't ever want to show up as not my best. And it got me thinking about, so what if someone else called out? If this was someone else and they called out, I would think nothing of it. Oh my gosh, yes, of course, that sounds awful. Do what you need to do. When is it flaky? And when do you need to take care of yourself and prioritize yourself? Now, I think it has to do with your history. If you have a pattern of doing this all the time, that likely sends up red flags. I don't, but it's still something I worry about more than most people. And I look at objectively my work ethic, and here I am going to go into a stream of justifying, but this is from my own kind of gut check. I am pretty sure objectively I have a good work ethic. I'm about to go Gen X on you. I started my first job in the second grade doing a paper route that took me about an hour every single day after school. So no come home and chill and watch cartoons. I gotta be out there, rain, snow, sunshine, riding my bike up a dirt road to deliver these newspapers. So it taught me responsibility pretty young, and I only made $250 a week. And then in middle school, I got a job picking blueberries in a blueberry field. I grew up in a rural town, and I would make $18 a day being out in the hot sun all day in July. And then when I wanted to babysit for a new neighborhood that was built across the street, I was 12 years old. I typed up a resume. I don't even know what I had on there. I don't know what experience I had. And I knocked on their door and I said, I would like to babysit for you, and handed them my resume. So I think if I look at these things objectively, I probably have a pretty good work ethic. I was a dishwasher for my first paycheck job. I was too young. It actually was under the table. I was 14. And if you've ever worked in a restaurant, dishwashing is the worst job. It's disgusting. It's long hours. So I think it just instilled in me that that's what you do. You work hard. So I think I can operate on the assumption that I don't need to calibrate in that direction, because advice is not always for you, right? It's where are you at and what do you need? If somebody doesn't have that work ethic, they might need the advice. You got to buck up sometimes, and you just got to do the thing. So it also makes me think, that's on a personal level. I know I'm not great at, again, decentering my employer. What do I need to perform my best? And if taking today off was it, that should be fine, because even from my employer's perspective, if I'm not my best and I burn myself out long term, I'm not a great employee. So it actually, from all perspectives, makes sense not to do that. I also get into my head about, back in the industrial age, people didn't get time off. You didn't get paid time off. You showed up, or you would lose your job and your family would starve. So who am I to be I'm a little sleepy, I need some time off? Really? Then perhaps that's also how we got here, where people in general in America are overworked, dissatisfied, having midlife crises, because the balance of work and life is so far shifted in the wrong direction, and we need people to step up and be examples of self-care and mental health so that we can all evolve in that direction. And honestly, I want to believe, and I think I mostly believe that healthy, happy, balanced people will be more productive anyway. And we already see this in Europe, where they have much more time off than us. They tend to take like half the summer off and go to their summer homes and don't work. Maybe work long hours, but it's not so like meeting. There's lunches in between and there's more leisure, and they just don't center their world around work. And now I've experienced this a little bit for myself. I did live in Spain for a bit in college, and this is what I've heard anecdotally, and I've read a couple books that reference this, so I'm pretty sure this is the truth and not just hearsay. But I think the point is today having an experience like last night where I have to question, is this a time do I really need to step back and prioritize myself, and would taking the day off benefit me? Or would I feel more like I'm getting more behind? And even that's not a great reason not to do it, because maybe I'm always going to feel that way. The other thing is really the start of this video was, am I working hard enough? Having really clearly defined KPIs, key performance indicators, or ways that you are doing your job, and being really clear about that with your employer. If I do these things, like, what would it look like? Success in my role, what does that look like to you? So if you've done those things, you can start to let go of, I'm not doing enough. I think that's tricky in marketing, which I work in, because it's changing so fast and you always need to keep up on what's new, and you can always go above and beyond. But does going above and beyond serve you? Because I see people that don't go above and beyond that are just fine in their career, and they're a valued employee, and they're relaxed, and they're not doing the most. They're not killing themselves, and they're not getting fired. So and is my employer doing that for me? Am I getting rewarded when I do go above and beyond or perform? And if not, besides my own internal satisfaction, why? Why would they pay me more? Why would they give me additional resources if I'm just going to do it anyway? Right? So these are all the things running through my head this morning, and thank you for listening. If you're watching this and you've made it this far, I think verbalizing these things can be really beneficial. And I will definitely go back and watch this, and I'll hear myself talking about it and hear some of the limiting beliefs and things I need to keep questioning in order to sort this out in my head. So thank you. Have a great day.